Good evening and welcome to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. I'm your host, Nigel Honeybone. Giant monsters trash cities in tonight's exciting presentation of a 1968 classic ripped straight from the dripping bowels of Dai Studios. Destroy All Planets, not to be confused with the similarly titled Destroy All Monsters, is typical Daikaiju, which roughly translated means Japanese stuntmen in rubber suits stomping scale models of Tokyo. Please enjoy Destroy All Planets, starring the friend of children all round the world, Gamera. I knew it started with a G. Coming up next, we have more big ugly monsters trying to devour everything in sight. And then after the ads, we'll get back to Destroy All Planets.
If you hate to reach down to clean that bowl with cloths, cleansers, bleaches, you need Sanaflush Toilet Bowl Cleaner. This beaker illustration shows how Sanaflush cleans the modern way. In minutes, its chemical boosters remove dingy film that forms in any water, even dissolve hard water rust rings. Cleans brighter because it contains the stain-removing chemical sodium binoxalate. Just pour, let stand, swish, flush. Your hands never touch the water with Sanaflush.
And welcome back to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. If you tuned in late, you're probably wondering what all these giant fighting monsters are fighting about. Does it really matter? Well, just in case it does, Earth is under attack from aliens wearing berets, like French mimes. Okay, so we're being invaded by a bunch of cheese-eating street performers, except these ones don't surrender so easily, who fly around in a spaceship that looks like giant bees in a scrum. Luckily for Earth, there exists a giant flying fire-breathing turtle named Gamera, who also hates performance art. Poor thing, he must get quite dizzy from all that spinning around, but doesn't seem to affect him much more than the freezing vacuum of space. And if you're wondering about how he produces all that methane, he has 4 stomachs. Is that too much information? Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that giant monsters, or Daikaiju, in movies like this normally spend their time stomping Tokyo and fighting the Japanese army, but they actually spend a lot of time duking it out with other giant monsters and occasionally saving Earth from alien invaders. I think it's territorial instinct. But the aliens use a montage ray to discover the big guy's weakness. He likes little boys. A lot, it seems. So the aliens use this to force Gamera into doing their bidding, which is, well, stomping Tokyo and fighting the Japanese army. Finally! The United Nations must like little boys too, because apparently Tokyo is expendable, but they're unwilling to sacrifice the 2 tykes, preferring to give in to our new alien overlords. If only Saddam Hussein had known it was this easy. Director Noriaki Yusa's first film for Dai Studios was the 1964 musical comedy If You're Happy, Clap Your Hands. His next film was supposed to be Daigunju Nezura, or The Great Rat Swarm, but the decision to use real rats resulted in the studio being infested with fleas. Left with a styrofoam model of Tokyo and a rapidly recovering crew, studio boss Masashi Nagata had the odd idea about destroying it with a gigantic flying turtle instead, which Yosa, screenwriter Nissen Takahashi, and a team of foam rubber craftsmen moulded into Gamera. Yosa directed 7 of the 8 Gamera films and revelled in their silliness. Even the title is silly. I didn't see any planets destroyed, and only one was actually under any threat. Yes, it's cheaply made with poor acting, worse dubbing and terrible special effects. But it's such a screwball movie, so obviously intended for small children who don't know any better, that it's a little difficult to dislike, even with the obvious time-filling flashbacks to the earlier films that take up almost a quarter of the running time. Gamera alone has flattened Tokyo 3 times in the last 3 years. But true to Japanese industriousness, it's always rebuilt for next year's attack. No wonder their apartments are so small. With that in mind, we now return to rubbernecking at this road wreck for rubber-suited wrestlers in the tag team SmackDown Monster Madness that is Destroy All Planets. Destroy All Planets will make you say, wow, I'm not even stoned, which is always the hallmark of an enjoyably bad movie. Besides, any movie that has the line, Gamera, destroy Tokyo, can't be all bad now, can it? Anyway, please join me next week when I have the opportunity to burst your blood vessels with another terror-filled excursion to the dark side of the public domain on the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. Toodles!